Story 1. I found myself standing in front of an immense structure. It resembled a building, but it was unlike anything I had ever seen before. The entrance had towering pillars reminiscent of ancient Roman temples. The illumination came from all directions, as if the light permeated every inch of the surroundings. The front of the structure featured a colossal archway with no doors. As I stared at it, my deceased uncle, who had passed away 5 or 6 years prior, appeared beside me. He urged me to enter the building, assuring me that he would join me inside. I strolled alongside my uncle in awe. The silence between us felt comforting, as if words were unnecessary in the presence of such magnificence. A sense of tranquility washed over me, erasing any worries or anxieties. Suddenly, as I reached the center of the room, my grandfather's voice echoed in my ears, uttering the words, "This is not your time." Startled, I halted and opened my eyes, returning to reality. I had a life-threatening experience where I was hospitalized and had to undergo a procedure to have a stent placed in my body. The doctor who treated me informed me that I was fortunate to have survived, as I had been clinically dead for 14 minutes. During the following decade, I experienced a series of health issues, including more heart attacks. After experiencing another major heart attack, I found myself in a serene and picturesque setting. I stood at the edge of a tranquil pond, surrounded by a vast rolling field. In the distance atop a hill stood a towering pillar building that I had seen before. A mesmerizing waterfall cascaded into the pond, its flow appearing seamless and undisturbed. The beauty of this scene was enhanced by a line of trees that stretched from the right side of the field, almost reaching its center. This tree line held significance in this enchanting landscape. I glanced around and spotted my uncle once more. Despite his lips not moving, a smile adorned his face, as if his voice was directly transmitted into my mind. He greeted me with a cheerful, "Hello again," and raised his arms, inquiring if I liked my surroundings. I responded affirmatively, and he gestured towards the pond, declaring that it would be our fishing spot. To my surprise, I realized I was hovering just above the water's surface. Peering into the pond, I observed sizable fish gracefully swimming about. My uncle motioned for me to join him on the opposite side and mentioned that someone was eagerly awaiting my arrival. As soon as it happened, a wave of indescribable emotion washed over me, enveloping my entire being. It was a sensation akin to love, but it was accompanied by a profound sense of knowing. In that moment, I was certain of the person who awaited me, and this realization only deepened my joy. Throughout my life, I experienced immense agony whenever I moved or sat for extended periods. However, upon reaching the afterlife, I was devoid of any pain or despair. Instead, I felt an overwhelming sense of joy. This happiness was not the fleeting kind that arises from material possessions or indulgences, but rather a profound and everlasting state of true happiness, encompassing all the joyful moments I had ever experienced in my life. As I stepped into the field, a sense of familiarity washed over me. I had a clear understanding of who I was supposed to meet and where I needed to go. Walking alongside my uncle, we gracefully moved across the field, heading towards the tree line at the back right corner. The trees stood tall with vibrant leaves in various shades of autumn. As we reached the edge of the tree line, which extended halfway through the field, a house came into view. As I explored the 2-story house, I couldn't help but notice its unique feature. It was attached to a truck. It wasn't just being towed, but rather the house itself was the bed of the truck. It was a larger type of pickup truck specifically designed for pulling heavy loads. It was an interesting sight to see, as if someone could simply drive the truck and take the entire house with them. I returned to the porch of the house and approached the door, feeling a sense of certainty about who would answer. Deep down, I knew it would be my father, even though he had passed away a few years prior. This knowledge resonated within me. However, before my father could open the door, I heard another familiar voice from behind. It was my grandfather, who had also passed away around the same time as my dad. During this particular incident, my grandfather, who had saved me from a similar situation in the past, appeared to be more than just angry. It was a mix of concern and worry, as if I had done something incredibly dangerous, and he wanted to make sure I understood the severity of it. It was like being a child who had just done something reckless, and my parents rushed over to me, holding me tightly and scolding me, saying, "Never do that again. Do you realize how dangerous that was? We could have lost you." I couldn't see my grandfather. His voice conveyed the same tone. He spoke not to me directly, but to his son, my uncle, saying, "He is not done yet. He has to go back." In that moment, I felt my grandfather's hand firmly grasp my arm as he pulled me back up. After regaining consciousness, I found myself in a hospital bed surrounded by nurses and doctors. Over the next few weeks, I had several appointments with a cardiologist who had been present when I woke up. He told me something that shocked me. I had been clinically dead for 27 minutes. The medical team had tirelessly worked to revive me during that time. The doctor referred to me as the luckiest man he had ever seen, and I couldn't help but feel grateful for the second chance at life. In a remarkable turn of events, the medical team had made the decision to cease their efforts to revive me. The doctor had even declared the time of my death. However, just as he was uttering the word death, a miraculous beep emitted from the heart monitor. Seizing this unexpected sign of life, they decided to administer one more shock with the defibrillator. To everyone's astonishment, my eyes flew open, and I began to move. The nurses were in awe, attributing my revival to the presence of a guardian angel. It was later revealed that they had administered over 13 shocks with the defibrillator, leaving visible burns on my chest as evidence of the ordeal. I have had the unique experience of visiting the same place twice after death. On both occasions, I was greeted by the same person, indicating a sense of familiarity. It is important to note that each visit was distinct, ruling out the possibility of my brain simply replaying the same scenario. Instead, these experiences provided a glimpse into what awaits me after death. Furthermore, these encounters reaffirmed that I have lived a good life, as I believe a negative experience would have unfolded if that were not the case. During my first visit, I sensed that the hallway of pillars I was walking down was leading me to someone of great significance. However, the second visit, where I was going to see my dad, felt different and carried a heightened sense of importance. This story was shared by Vali B and happened around 1999.
Story 2. When I was 13 years old, I had a dream in which my deceased uncle appeared to me. In the dream, he told me that I would be involved in an accident. It would happen around the age of 16, but I would survive even though everyone would think I would die. This dream scared me, so I decided to share it with my mother. She tried to comfort me by reassuring me that it was just a dream. When I reached my 16th birthday, anxiety consumed me. However, as soon as I turned 17, I found humor in the fact that the dream I had been worrying about would no longer come true. Little did I know, just 4 days later, my horse managed to escape from his enclosure. As I attempted to put a halter on him, my sister's boyfriend approached from behind, startling my horse. His legs hit mine and I collapsed. In an instant, I found myself in the hospital, facing an unexpected turn of events. In that moment, a woman entered my room and her words still resonate with me to this day. She expressed her apologies for the delay in visiting me, explaining that she had been overwhelmed with her responsibilities. Curious about my mother's whereabouts, she inquired about her location. I informed her that my mother had gone to seek medical assistance. Intrigued, she asked about the treatment plans the doctors had for me. Uncertain, I admitted that I was unaware of their intentions. With a determined expression, she assured me that she would find someone to assist me, and then mysteriously exited the room, seemingly passing through the wall. In a moment of urgency, a doctor who was not originally assigned to me came rushing down the hallway. Despite being pressed for time, my mother had requested his assistance. He agreed to examine me and quickly realized the severity of the situation, calling for immediate medical intervention. As a result, I was swiftly transferred to the intensive care unit for further treatment. In that moment, a remarkable event unfolded before my eyes. A beam of light pierced through the window, its purpose clear. It was seeking someone. As the light continued to pour into the room, I felt an undeniable certainty that I was the intended recipient. Suddenly, everything went dark and I found myself hurtling through a seemingly endless tunnel at an unimaginable speed. I sensed a presence beside me, as if the light itself was aware of my every thought. It was an overwhelming experience, a loss of privacy, yet I could only grasp the information that was meant for me. I knew that my destination lay at the end of this tunnel, where a tiny pinhole of light beckoned. And then, a message was conveyed to me. If I proceeded to the end, there would be no turning back. With all the strength within me, I mustered the will to resist, refusing to cross that threshold. After regaining consciousness, I experienced a period where I felt disconnected from my own body. Although I didn't feel any malevolent presence, the unfamiliarity of the situation frightened me for several weeks. I couldn't shake the fear that I would once again leave my body if the light reappeared. My deceased uncle played a significant role in guiding me towards the light at the end of the tunnel, and I have since reflected on the entirety of this extraordinary event. During my experience, I encountered a powerful and all-knowing light that had the ability to communicate with every living being on Earth simultaneously, using telepathy. This form of communication transcended language and was conveyed through thoughts rather than spoken words. Although I was never given a specific name or title for this all-knowing light, its immense knowledge and understanding were undeniable. As a result of this profound encounter, I have developed a leaning towards the belief in reincarnation. While I was in the ICU, my mother had a powerful experience. As she walked past the chapel in the hospital, she felt a strong urge to go inside and pray. However, she resisted this pull and instead went to make a phone call to inform the rest of the family about my condition. The doctor had advised her to gather everyone to say their final goodbyes. I have found purpose in my life by dedicating myself to rescuing animals and pursuing a career as a nurse. I believe that our purpose is to learn and help humanity in any way we can. It is important to me to give back to others, as I have been given so much. I am reminded of the sacrifices made by others, as many lost their lives at a young age. This serves as a constant reminder for me to never take anything for granted. This story was shared by Jala W. and happened in 1975.